Episode of The Breakdown. I'm Mike.
And I'm Austin. Daniel Jones? Are you serious right now? They drafted Daniel Jones with the 6th pick?
Damian Lillard is a top 5 player in the NBA right now, hands down. Welcome to this episode of The Breakdown. I'm Mike.
And I'm Austin. We just want to thank everybody for tuning in to this week's episode. We have a jam-packed show for you. We're going to jump right into it so we have time to cover everything. So first off, man, NBA Finals, what a great matchup. Golden State Warriors going against Toronto Raptors. So, Michael, to start it off, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
Just jump right in. Raptors need to take advantage of KD not playing early. We already know he's not playing game 1, whether it's game 2 and game 3, game 4. We don't know how long it's going to be. In that time frame, the Raptors need to, especially in the first 2 games, they need to take one at Golden State. If you take one at Golden State, you go back home, win both games. What is that? You're up 3-1. It's simple math. Then you have a better chance to win the finals. And you know what's great about the situation of KD not playing is now you can put Kawhi, you can put him on Clay, you can put him on Steph. There's not a third super monster scorer out there that you have to worry about. So for me, I was just like, Kawhi's going to get his. And another factor in the game is who's the number 2 guy for the Raptors? Because there's a couple options. You have Kyle Lowry, obviously. You have Pascal, who's their second leading scorer throughout the playoffs. You have Marcus Gasol, who's a chance. And then you have guys on the bench, they can play. Danny Green, Van Fleet, who knows? But who's going to be the consistent number 2 guy for the Raptors in this series? And because they need somebody, because Kawhi's going to get you 30 a game. I think everybody can predict that he's going to average 30 points in this finals. But who's going to be that guy that gets close to the 20 points a game? And I feel that's going to be huge in this series.
Well, I think you made some excellent points there. Where they need to take advantage of KD being out. I think that's a huge factor because look, you don't know how long he's going to be out. So while he is out, you have a matchup advantage because they're going to be forced to play Andre Iguodala. He's not as good of a scorer as KD. Obviously, he's not a good shooter. He's kind of slowing down from an age standpoint. From a defensive standpoint, I think it's a benefit for Golden State to have him on the floor because he's going to definitely be guarding Kawhi. Right. And to your point, you're saying Kawhi's going to average 30 points a game this season. I disagree. I literally think Andre Iguodala is going to somewhat slow down Kawhi Leonard. I don't think he's going to be held to 20 points or anything like that, but I think he's going to somewhat slow him down. I think one of the other supporting gas guys is going to have to step up for them, whether that be like you said, Kyle Lowry, Marc Gasol, some guys on the bench, either like a Danny Green, Serge Ibaka, Pascal Siakam. So I think that's going to be a factor. But look, I think in order for Toronto to win this series, I think they have to steal game 1 or 2 in Golden State. I think that's a good point. And the second factor, I think they have to limit Golden State's 3-point shooting. Kawhi has, I say Kawhi, he's their team basically. But Toronto have a really good 3-point shooting team that's very underrated. You have guys like Kawhi Leonard, Kyle Lowry, Pascal Siakam can knock a couple down, Danny Green, Serge Ibaka, Marc Gasol can shoot the 3 ball. You have Van Vliet off the bench. So you have 3-point shooters on their team, but you cannot get into a shooting matchup with Golden State. When they come off those picks, you got to be up on them, force them to make 2s, force them to go to the layup, force them to go to the paint and lay the ball up. I think that's going to be a huge factor for them if they're going to win this series.
Right. I feel, honestly, Steph Curry's going to get his. Like, we're talking about Kawhi, I feel is going to get his. Steph's going to get. So, for me, I feel the mission to Nick Nurse needs to, all right, Steph's going to get, let's just shut down Clay. Because Steph's going to get 30, but if you can stop the supporting cast, you're going to win a lot of games, at least while KD's not there.
I don't feel like that's a good strategy, and here's why. Because you cannot shut down one particular player because if you try to double team, say you try to double team Klay Thompson,
I'm not saying double team.
Well, how do you put
Kawhi on him?
So you're going to have him. I think that. Look, I think Kawhi is going to play.
It's going
to be a rotation. He's not going
to. I'm not saying look, Clay. You stay on Clay the whole game, but I'm just saying
it's not going to be like that. I think to start the game, you're going to probably see Kawhi on like Andre Iguodala or somebody, just having it kind of behind the scenes. And when the game comes to crunch time, he's going to be playing against Klay Thompson and playing against Steph Curry, probably whoever's hot. But I don't think you can shut down one particular player. They're the Splash Brothers. They can make contested shots. I think what you have to do is on the ball screens, you have to trap them. When you trap them, force Kevon Looney to make a shot. Force Andre Iguodala to make a shot. Force guys like Sean Livingston when he's in the game to make a shot. I think that's how you beat Golden State. I don't think you beat them by focusing on one guy. I think whoever's running the pick and roll, they're going to be running those back screens. They're going to be running picks. You trap him up top with the big guy. And look, that might be a factor too. Marc Gasol might not play a lot in this series because of his inability to be mobile. So I think that's something to look forward to too, is seeing whether he can be out there and match up with those quick guards off of those screens.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, that's true. And another thing, I mean, definitely don't be like Portland's defense. I think the one play that is in mind when Steph Curry came off the screen, Zach Collins is literally like 6 feet away from him, and Steph drills the three.
Yes.
Definitely don't want to play that defense. But no, I agree. In crunch time, yes, Kawhi, put on whoever's hot. I'm just saying, I feel like if you just slow the Sporting cast down, like if Steph gets 30, but the rest of the team gets, let's just say 60. I mean, I expect the Raptors to score more than 90 points if you do the simple math like that.
I think it's going to be a very competitive series. I think a lot of people, are kind of not giving Toronto credit. There's just the Warriors, but
the Warriors, and I mean, they're going to.
Toronto has a very good basketball team, and I know they're very inconsistent from their role player standpoint. But look, they have a lot of good guys on this team that can contribute, and I think they really do have a chance. We're going to do our predictions later on, but I think they really do have a great chance.
I wouldn't want to play in Jurassic Park right now. That atmosphere right now was just clicking. Like, I mean, if you're at Toronto, I mean, how would you not want to play there? It's a fun atmosphere to play in.
Right. I think they really have to get home court advantage back and really go.
That's what I'm saying. It's huge. You got to take advantage of KD not being there. Like I said, he's definitely a top 3 player in the world. I mean, for some, let's just say top 5. Lock top 5, but for me, definitely top 3.
So kind of going off of that, we kind of want to keep talking about it. I want to ask you a question. And look, any team to win a championship, you gotta have somebody's got to step up. Each year somebody steps up in the crunch time and the best moments, and they really can be the outcome. I mean, have an impact on the outcome. So, NBA Finals, Toronto, Golden State. I kind of want to know, who do you think is going to be the X factor this year? When it's all said and done, you're going to say that guy right there is the reason why they won the NBA Finals.
Well, for me, I mean, I'm going to go from the Raptors standpoint. I'm not saying they're my prediction. I'm just saying from the Raptors standpoint, if they do win, I feel the X factor is going to be Kyle Lowry. Because like I was saying earlier, Kawhi, he's going to be the star for the Raptors. Who's going to be that number 2 guy? And I feel Kyle Lowry, for the Raptors to win a championship, needs to step up and be that number 2 guy that everybody expects him to be. And so, especially the last few years in the playoffs, he's just been a disappointment. But at least this year he hasn't been great, but he hasn't been a disappointment like he's been in the past few years. So for the Raptors, I see Kyle Lowry. Now for the Warriors, if the Warriors win, I'm going to say their bench. The bench, if they're going to win, if their bench averages let's say 40 points, 50 points a game, they're winning another championship.
So all right. So here's I have the guy that I think is going to be a huge factor in this series. I just kind of touched on it, is Marc Gasol. I think Marc Gasol, from a defensive standpoint, he's going to really have to be focused and on his feet. They're going to run him through the mill. They're going to want them to switch. If they switch on those point guards, if they switch on Klay and Steph Curry, they're going to try to go after him each time. So I think for him, he just has to find a way to stay on the floor. What happened in other series with Golden State, their bigs don't really play as much because it's hard to guard all those shooters on the floor if you have a immobile big. And I think Marc Gasol is that person right now. So I think for him, the reason why he needs to be the X factor is show that you can stay on the floor on defense, because his offense is going to be needed tremendously in this series. Somebody, right, like you were saying, Kyle Lowry should be the number 2, but what happens if Kyle Lowry is not the number 2? They need to find a number 2. And I think Marc Gasol is an option. You have Kyle Lowry as an option. You have Pascal Siakam as an option. So I think from that standpoint, somebody needs to help Kawhi Leonard out. And I think Marc Gasol, it needs to be that guy. He needs to be that guy for them to win this series. I think that's a huge deal, because what they can't do right now is they cannot guard a guy in the post. If they can go down in the post with him, it could be a tremendous advantage for Toronto in this series, especially if DeMarcus Cousins comes back. This guy has been out for a while. He's been out for at least a month.
He's hungry to come back.
Yeah, he might be hungry to come back, but let me tell you something. When you're out that long, you're gonna be jet lagged a little bit. And I think that they should take advantage of that and give the ball to Marc Gasol and let him go at Boogie Cousins to try to see if he's ready to play or not. And I think that's what they need to do.
Yeah. Okay. So the Warriors, what do you feel like they're?
Their X factor. I'm gonna agree with you on the bench. I think their bench is a huge X factor. I think what they need to do is did you say their bench was an X factor?
Yeah, I said the bench was an X factor.
So I think that's a huge X factor, because if you look at matchups, Toronto has a better bench. Toronto leans on their bench a lot. They lean on their bench a lot. What their head coach likes to do is he likes to take the stars out and let them rest, and then he puts the bench. He relies heavily on that bench.
And they've been
when it comes to minutes. They've been playing great. You have Fred VanVleet. You got Serge Ibaka. You have Danny Green, I think, is on their bench too.
Yeah.
So they have the advantage when it comes to bench, and Golden State's going to try to keep their stars out as much as possible. So when whenever Toronto's bench comes in the game, whoever's out there for Golden State with the other guys, they need to step up. Quinn Cook, Kevon Looney, whoever it may be, they need to step up.
Yeah, like I said, the bench had definitely agreed. Marcus Gasol, man, if he's hitting those threes, who knows? Anything can happen. So, kind of going with that, we both kind of made really good points. What's your prediction for this finals? Who wins it?
This is really tough. I think Toronto has a tremendous chance, and I'm going to go with the Toronto Raptors.
Wow.
And 6 games.
Wow.
And here's
6.
Here's the reason why. Let me tell you why. The last time Kawhi Leonard played a series against Golden State, they were up by 20 points in Game 1 with the San Antonio Spurs.
This is
in
true.
Oracle.
This is true.
In Oracle, and that team also had Kevin Durant. I think a lot of people are underestimating how big of an impact Kawhi Leonard could have on a team. And you look at it with Toronto, the trade that happened, everybody was kind of saying, oh, this is the same player, but stats don't mean everything. What this guy does for Toronto on the floor, he brings a different type of vibe, a different type of energy for them. And his experience in the NBA Finals on a team that doesn't have a lot of guys that have been to the Finals, I think one other player, and that's Serge Ibaka and Danny Green, of course, they've been to the Finals also. But his experience, knowing what it takes to win a championship, is going to help them a lot. I think Toronto is going to pull off the biggest upset in NBA history.
I do agree that probably the entire country, except for the California area, is rooting for Toronto to win this final. But I got to go with the Golden State Warriors. They've been here, done that. They won a championship. Even if KD they won it without him. And I think KD's come back in the series, and then Boogie coming back. But I do think the Raptors push it to 7. I feel this is going to be a really exciting finals. Like we were telling you earlier, a lot of people really aren't, I feel, as hyped enough as they should be about this final. I feel this is going to be a very competitive finals, but I just feel the Warriors just the experience and the scoring.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm not the only person that said this. Some people have said it also. Kawhi Leonard's the best player in the world right now. Okay? And if they win this series, he is going to be at another level. Okay? And he's going to be cemented as the best player in the world. Mark my words. When he was in San Antonio, a lot of people forget how good he was. He was being called the best player then. And he goes out for a year last year. Everybody kind of forgot about him. I forgot about him, how good he really was. In this finals, you're going to see how good Kawhi Leonard really is.
What do you say? Like I said, I'm intrigued. I'm really I'm going to watch every game. I'm excited.
So you made a point. You made a point. You said Golden State has won a championship without KD. So my question to you is, as the question out there right now among a lot of people are the Golden State Warriors better without Kevin Durant?
Well, see, that's a tough one. I feel like you could argue both ways. Are they better with him? I think KD makes them a better team when it comes to winning a championship at the end of the day. Kevin Durant is a top 5 player in the world. And when you put a guy on a team like that, he's going to instantly make you better at any point in time. Now, and at the same time, I could see the argument to where you could say, because pretty sure their record without KD is just historically amazing. But at the end of the day, they've won 2 championships with KD. Now, I said they might have won another one without him. We won't know. They have KD. There's no way you can know that they would or not. But for me, I think they're a better team with KD because he's a superstar. Anywhere you go, you make that. That's what. And another thing I was saying with Kawhi, you put him on Steph or Clay. We throw KD out there. Well, he can't guard 3 people, so I think KD makes them a better team at the end of the day when it comes to winning a championship.
Yeah, I disagree. I think they're better without KD. And let me tell you why. 31-1 without Kevin Durant.
Who'd they play?
With Steph Curry on the floor. It doesn't matter who they play. They won a championship without him. They won 73 games. They went 73-9 without him. What they do when Kevin Durant is not on the floor is move the basketball. Steph Curry can be Steph Curry. He doesn't have to defer to Kevin Durant. Klay Thompson can be Klay Thompson. Who was struggling with Kevin Durant on the floor? Klay Thompson. He was the one that was struggling. So whenever he's not on the floor, the ball movement is quick. They're running their back screen. When Kevin Durant is on the floor, they have to run a lot of isolation because Kevin Durant has to get his touches. You know what I'm saying? So without Kevin Durant on the floor, everybody can get their touches. Everybody can have a share of the basketball. And it makes I think they score a lot easier without Kevin Durant. And that's why I think Kevin Durant's going to leave.
I just feel when KD is a top 5, I think he's a top 3 player in the NBA. You put him on any team, you're automatically better, without a doubt. So for me, I just feel like at the end of the day, man, it's another superstar. He's going to make you better. Yes, is the record almost perfect without him? Yeah, it is. But Kevin Durant's a superstar, and he's Finals MVP with the Warriors. So for me, KD makes them a lot better.
Well, tomatoes.
I can see both ways. It's not like I'm strong about it that KD is so much better, but I just think they're a better team with KD at the end of the day.
So here's another question. Steve Kerr, this will be his what? This will be his 4th championship.
If he wins,
this will be his 4th championship. So do you think if he wins this championship, this finals, is he one of the greatest coaches of all time?
I think he's in the right direction, but still no. Like, I mean, you could argue he's top 5. I mean, I think without a doubt you could argue. But for me, you still Phil Jackson has 11 championships.
Right.
Greg Popovich has 5 championships.
Red Auerbach has 9.
Right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Is he in the right direction? Yeah, but like, and then the wins, like the all-time wins, they're not even like close to the top guys right now. But like I said, I'm not disrespecting Steve Kerr. Steve, what he's done. I mean, 4 championships and what he's only been an NBA coach for 5 seasons?
Right.
That's amazing.
Well, here's the thing with Steve Kerr. I think that's a good question to ask because a lot of people have been giving him a lot of credit. And look, he inherited a very good team. Mark Jackson, I think he won 53 games when he was there the season before.
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with the fire of Mark Jackson, but let's just keep going.
But he hasn't had a job since, so maybe there was something else.
That's what I meant. There's something we didn't know.
So I think, look, he's definitely one. I think he'll be one of the best coaches, but he's not the best coach. You got, like you said, Phil Jackson will be number 1 to me. Greg Popovich 2, and then Red Auerbach will be 3. Not a championship. I know it wasn't during a competitive era in the NBA, but that was something that you cannot take away from him.
You still have Pat Riley, who's got sitting there.
Yeah, there's other guys.
Now Steve Kerr, like I said, could you argue if they win the championship? Could you argue top 5?
You can
Absolutely. But
he's definitely a great coach.
But at the same time, when we say this, he's got a long career to go. So for when it's all said and done, he might have 11. We don't know. It's still young. That's my point, though. We don't know. I'm not saying he will. I'm saying we don't know.
He won't have 11. The NBA is way too competitive.
I don't think he will, but I'm saying, but he's so young in his coaching career, we don't know.
It'll be a wait and see. At this point in time, I'm not ready to jump on that bag. I think you feel the same way.
No, that's not. I'm not saying that like, oh yeah, he's gonna have like 12 when he's done. No, I don't know, but it's like if he wins this with his 4th one, it's stepping in the right direction. Now, by the time it's all said and done, he's gonna have a lot more career wins under his belt, and then probably a few more championships under his belt. Maybe to keep the Warriors together. But for me, right direction. So. Moving on to another topic, we were kind of talking about how Toronto moved on to the finals. What are the Bucks after that devastating series lost? What are the Bucks do you think they need to do in this offseason?
We've been doing this every week about teams that lost in the last round, what they need to do in the offseason, and I think it's a great segment we've been able to kind of jump into the GM role as sort of say. But look, they have a ton of free agents coming up. You guys, Chris Middleton, he has a player option. He's probably going to opt out.
He's an opt-out.
Nico Mirotic is a free agent. Brook Lopez is a free agent. They have to make a decision on George Hill. He has 1 year left on his deal. He's making $18 million. I think they should bring George Hill back. He's an asset with that 1 year on his left on his contract, more than a liability. I think bring him back. Bring back Middleton. Do not bring him back on a max deal, though. I think that's where you draw the line. I think bring most of the team back. Nico Mirotic can let him go, and then rebuild the team with more role players and try to take that next step forward. And I think a big factor for them is not what they do with the team. It's how Giannis comes back next year. He has got to come back next year with the jump shot. If he does not, they will be in the same place as they are right now.
And I'll talk about that. I think we can argue that the past few years, he's gotten better every season. And his jump shot this past year, it wasn't good, but it was better than it had been.
Yeah, his game got exposed.
Oh, and you know what it seemed like? It seemed like he was scared to shoot. That's what was kind of weird. I was like, especially in that last game 6, I was like, dude, you're the best player on the team. Go attack. What are you doing? Why are you sitting back?
Right. Look, like I was saying, his game got exposed. I think I'm not doubting that he will not work in the offseason. He is a great worker. He has got to come and work in the offseason, but I do not doubt that he would get better. But like I said, if he does not come back with a 3-point shot, they will be in the same position because their team got exposed without him, and he can't do much else if they take away his jump, take away his driving lane.
And I do agree with I feel like for the most part, for the right deals, I'd bring back this team. Like Brook Lopez is a free agent. I'd try to bring him back. Middleton, like you said, just not a max. I would try and bring him back, though. I feel like the max is where you would draw. Yes, I realize he's an all-star, everybody, but come on. Max deal. I mean, do you give him like $20 million a year? Yeah, I think so. He deserves $20 million. He's an all-star. Middleton.
Oh, Middleton, yeah.
Yeah, $20 million a year. I think he was an all-star last year. He averaged over 20 points.
Is the 2-minute
So,
warning.
well, I said that was great. Moving on to our 2-minute warning. We got our fan question of the week coming from George. Oh, it's a baseball question. Can the Twins maintain the success all year long? For anybody that doesn't know, the Twins right now have the best record in baseball and are 9.5 games above the Indians right now. And I'm just, I think they're going to win the division. Do I think they're going to keep the best record in baseball? They can, and I think they'll make a run for it. But I mean, this is they just kind of came out of nowhere this year. I realize they've been competitive the last couple of years, but like this is like they just like went to a completely another level with this team and the power. I mean, just look at some of their numbers. Like they're first in home runs with 106 home runs already on the year. They're second in hits and they're second in batting average. Oh, they can pitch too. They're fourth in NRA in all of baseball. Yeah, this is a really good team.
They're a really good team. Like you were saying, I don't think they will maintain the best record in baseball, but I do think they're going to win a division, going to make the playoffs, and I hope they have I think they're going to have a pretty long run going to try to get to the World Series. I think they're a really good up-and-coming team. They have a good farm system, too, that nobody talks about. They have a good Hunter Green's one of the top prospects in all of baseball. So, they're a really good team. Hunter Green plays for Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah, Hunter Green plays for Cincinnati.
The Red team is maybe messed up, but
Royce Lewis is
the guy I was thinking about. Yeah, he's their top prospect. But yeah, I think they can. I don't think they'll maintain this success, but they'll win the division.
Yeah, I think like right now the Indians they're in second place and 9.5 games back, and everybody going into this year was like, oh yeah, the Indians are the favorites. Nobody really even thought about the Twins, but I mean the Twins have 4 guys right now that have over 10 home runs.
Yeah.
I mean Eddie Rosario in their outfield has just been raking this year. 17 home runs, 47 RBIs, and then Jorge Polanco at shortstop. A 335 batting average, that is insanely good. And like they're pitching, they have 2 guys in the sub-2s. We have Jake Odorizzi with a 2.116 ERA, and then you have Martin Perez with a 2.95 and Jose Barrios with a 3.2. This team they're built to have success in the postseason.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think they're definitely built to have success in the postseason. But as you heard, that was our buzzer, so that does it for us today. We want to thank you for tuning in to another week of The Breakdown, and hopefully we'll see you guys next week.
See you next week.